Returning now to our breaking news, Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith have reached an agreement in principle today to accelerate construction of major projects in Alberta. A release from the Prime Minister's office says the agreement will create a simpler and faster process to deliver major projects while reinforcing strong environmental protections and ensuring the rights of Indigenous communities are respected. The release also says the agreement builds on similar deals completed between Ottawa and the governments of BC, New Brunswick, and Ontario. Joining me now is CTV News political analyst, former Deputy Chief of Staff to former Finance Minister Bill Morneau, Sharan Kaur. Sharan, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So we're learning about this too as well, and I think we're waiting for some more details. It's again, according to the PMO, it's going to be finalized after they do some public consultation, and they've announced this. But it really does sound like, you know, the reduction of red tape, that they're not going to be dual processes, that a lot of it's going to rely on the province of Alberta and some of their environmental assessments and will coincide. But what do you make of this latest development and another agreement that we're seeing across this country?
I think it's a positive sign and a positive step forward. We've gone through so many years of this tumultuous relationship between provinces like Alberta and Ottawa, specifically when it comes to getting infrastructure projects and energy sector projects built. One of the biggest, I would say, issues for a lot of provinces and companies and proponents is that there's this level of red tape that comes around consultations and processes that take much longer than they ideally should. And when there's a lot of funds and money behind these projects that tend to be, I would say, lost or waste during these processes, I think this gives people more confidence that things can get built faster and better.
And I think, you know, the level of cooperation as well, right? Like we're seeing, you know, to your point about the fact that, you know, we had the deal about the possibility of a pipeline that's going to go to the northwest coast of BC. There's a lot of work to be done there still yet before that becomes a reality, clearly. But the fact that we still have another agreement, at least on this front, has to be good news, at least for the Premier as well.
Absolutely. I think, again, we've gone through a period of so much tension between Alberta specifically and Ottawa, and the fact that they're able to get to these moments where they're signing these agreements, I think that's a great sign of cooperation, and I think it's probably a really good indication of what that relationship between the Premier and the Prime Minister is like. So I think this is a really welcoming sign, both for the Premier, the Prime Minister, and for industry.
Now, and on the other hand, too, as well, again, we're waiting for more details. We don't necessarily have all of them yet, but for those from environmental groups, from Indigenous groups as well, it remains to be seen what this could mean for them right now. But do you expect some pushback possibly depending on what we're going to see in this agreement?
Absolutely. Listen, I've worked in both the government and the energy sector, and one of the most complicated parts of getting anything built is how the consultation process gets utilized, or sometimes hijacked, in the sense that it just kind of elongates and becomes more than what it should be. So I think there should be valid concerns from a consultation perspective, but I think that it's also important to remember that we can't let these things drag on forever. So the government on every level has to find a way to work with them to ensure that things are done properly.
We talked about Alberta in particular, but we mentioned a few other governments as well initially, Ontario, New Brunswick, and otherwise. Are we going to see more agreements, do you think, too, coming from the PMO and from the Prime Minister himself as we continue to watch, again, whether it's BC, other parts of the prairies or the rest of the country?
I hope so. I think this is a really good indication. We're in this moment of time where we need to build, and every province has a different relationship, but this is not just about the energy sector. We've got critical minerals that are huge across the province. So I think it's really important, and I do hope to see more of these agreements, because when we have more of these agreements, it kind of brings us back to that one economy, one country, versus having multiple different provinces having their own pet projects and not actually thinking about unity as a whole.
Okay, CTV News political analyst Sharan Kaur for us today. Thanks, Sharan. Always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.